So me and Jasmine have a very special announcement. Looks like me and you are gonna have a baby. So this is our baby. Her name's Lucy.
Yes.
And what kind of breed is she? Oh no. What kind of breed?
Ik zeg een Slovakian wolf dog.
Yeah, she's a wolf dog. We adopted her. And she is a vegan dog. She's eating all vegan food, so... This is what we're feeding Lucy. As we've said before, she's a vegan dog, and we're feeding her... What is it? Natural Balance? Yeah, Natural Balance vegetarian formula dog food, and it's actually vegan. They say vegetarian, I think, for marketing reasons.
Oh,
And
you
this
like
is
that food,
her
don't you?
dry food formula. It's the same brand. I keep forgetting the name. Natural Balance. It's even right on the front. I'm retarded. Yeah, so it's Natural Balance vegetarian, and it's vegan. They just say vegetarian probably for marketing reasons.
Previous owner is continuously trying to get to me, get Lucy taken from me somehow. And before I went vegan, I really wanted a wolf dog from a breeder. So I started messaging her and I was like, hey, I'm interested in a puppy. If you need a place for her, I can offer one. Richard was a bit hesitant at first because he thought she was a breeder. And me, she was a friend who was just having a litter out of pure love of the breed, which I can totally understand. It's not ethical, I know, but I can understand it. We're still humans, okay? Later on, I figured out she was actually gonna continue breeding. Yeah, that was a bummer, but what are you gonna do? Lucy's here, like... It happened, you know? It was a mistake of me. She arrived with the airplane. She arrived pretty sick. She was covered in her own feces, the entire crate was covered in diarrhea. I don't know what happened, like, in the 24-hour span of Lucy traveling. That's like a black hole. So Lucy got with us sick. She had chronic bowel and intestinal issues, which we didn't know like immediately, but after a few days it was clear that was going on. And when we just got her, we were convinced she would be fine on a vegan diet, so we bought vegan kibble for her. We had her on vegan kibble for about a week and a half. Then I started cooking fresh meals with supplements, rice with vegetables, etc. Didn't work. It was obvious that there was something going on with her bowels and it was chronic, and it might have been that the vegan diet made it worse. We just let it be for what it was and we just moved on. And she kept losing weight because she kept having diarrhea. She couldn't eat anything, she couldn't digest anything. So we were like, what the hell are we going to give her now? I bumped into Signature dry food and we tried that and that worked. After a certain hour she just has diarrhea. She's just really sensitive and allergic to a lot, so you know, it was difficult. She was skinny from having diarrhea for so long and the chronic issues, so she was way too skinny. She didn't look good at all. We were all aware of that. Richard, as you all know, has mental problems and it wasn't going well. It was stressful for me and it was stressful for the puppy. It was just Richard was on a point where he was as bad as he's never been. He told me things that he hadn't told me before marriage, which aren't really relevant because it doesn't really change anything. But, you know, if I would have known those things, I wouldn't have gotten a dog. I told her breeder, look, it's not going well with Richard, we need to find a new home for her. And it just didn't go well all of a sudden. So I offered her to take her back. She was also already in contact with the first owner of Lucy, the breeder. Trying to have her go back there, which I didn't agree to because we had had some unpleasant conversations on Facebook. So after those unpleasant conversations, I just didn't feel comfortable with it, so I just wanted to keep Lucy. And then it just went downhill from there on. She genuinely believed I made Lucy sick and that I made her nearly die, which wasn't true. Just want to point out, she's fine, she's gaining weight, she's really healthy right now, she was just spayed. Richard went better mentally, I got him in therapy. He's getting his brain scanned to see if there's any brain damage that would cause his weird behaviors. Lucy has accommodated to his weirdness that he has sometimes, and she loves him more than ever. I have noticed that the breeder is trying to spread bad names and words about me. it's just frustrating. Lucy is not on a vegan diet. She is now on a mixture of raw meat and dry kibble because that's the only thing that works for her right now. Will I try a vegan diet when she's older? I might not. I don't know. It depends on how she develops, how her diet is gonna be, how she's maintaining her weight, how her stomach and intestinal situation is. Right now it's fine. I will also show you proof of the food I have because it was very difficult for us to decide this. We really want a dog on a vegan diet, or if really everything else failed, dry kibble but never raw. I did throw all my ethics aside and I had a million of fights for Richard because of course he didn't want that. I won't let my dog starve though, so we threw aside our ethics and we're giving Lucy raw. I did break all contact with the breeder because she kept accusing me of stuff that I didn't do.
I do want to let you guys know that I am in contact with the breeder of Lucy, the breeder of the dog that Jasmine and Vegan Gains do own, and I have the evidence that they lied about adopting the dog. They purchased the dog. They knew they purchased the dog. They knew it was a breeder. What the breeder of the dog told me was that Jasmine had tried to purchase a dog from the U.S., and that breeder, I guess, had done more research into her and Googled her, and it ended up saying no, they wouldn't let her buy a dog. So she had contacted the breeder in Denmark. The issue, it's not even a vegan issue necessarily. The issue is they made a really stupid, selfish decision, and they flew a dog over from Denmark, in a plane. It was in a crate for 24 hours. When it arrived, it had diarrhea all over it. Good Karma Spirit, thank you for the likes. The issue is not a vegan issue. The issue is that, even non-vegans would say that what they did was highly unethical and really stupid. It was really stupid just for their own selfish vanity to say that, oh, I own a wolf dog. It was really stupid to try to purchase an animal from overseas when they could have easily adopted any dog in their neighborhood, but they chose to purchase a dog. And there is some arguments, within the vegan community as to whether, buying a dog from a breeder is even ethical or not. The other thing is too, I didn't mention this. The other thing is too is that Jasmine, this is what the breeder is telling me, but Jasmine told her that the dog would be living on a farm, number one. She lied to the breeder. That's one reason the breeder sold her the dog, was because she thought the wolf dog was going to be on a farm. The second thing is that if the breeder had known that they were going to try to feed the dog a vegan diet, she would have never sold them the dog. And the breeder's been trying to get the dog back, but then Jasmine cut ties with her. So it's a big scandal, but there's a lot of different, we're not even talking about a vegan issue. We're talking about two stupid idiots that, adopted a dog, or that purchased a dog, told the vegan community that they adopted the dog. And then he's going around calling me a liar. And then here's the other thing too. Now they're feeding the wolf dog raw meat. They're feeding the dog raw meat. They're feeding a dog raw meat when, number one, they don't need the dog. It's unnecessary to have the wolf dog. It's, their own vanity so that they can say, don't get me wrong, it's probably a really cool dog. It probably is a really, really cool dog. Don't get me wrong. But it's selfish to fly a dog, put that animal through the bullshit that it had to go through to get it over here to the U.S., then put it on a vegan diet for 2 weeks. It lost weight. It's been in and out of the vet. They had it spayed, so now it, doesn't have a reproductive system anymore. And then Vegan Gains is going to call me out because, I ate a sandwich that had a little bit of cheese sprinkled on it. You have fucking meat that you feed to your dog, raw meat that you feed to your dog in the freezer, bro. And then you want to deny the umbrella concept? I mean, am I making sense here? Does anybody understand what I'm trying to say? Well, if the dog needs it. I mean, if the dog needs it, the dog needs it. I'm not, the issue is that, number one, he's denying the vegan umbrella. And number two, he dismisses me as a fake vegan, yet
they're buying raw meat for a dog that they don't even need. And a dog that, has gone through a lot of what I would say is borderline abuse. I wouldn't say that Jasmine or Richard intentionally tried to hurt a dog, but they were extremely selfish in their decision to purchase an animal. And why did they lie about it? Why did they lie? Why did they lie and say that they adopted the dog? You know what I mean? Like, why did you tell the whole vegan community 4, 5, 6 months ago that you adopted the dog? They made a really stupid decision just so they could say, oh, I own a wolf dog, so they could have a really exotic breed of dog. They're going to, the animal went through a lot of pain and suffering just getting to Canada. And the way she described it was like the dog showed up covered in feces, covered in its own diarrhea. Charlie, thank you for the likes. Yeah, well, Rena, I don't know, for show off or just for vanity, Do we reckon that Vegan Gain's recent mental health issues are related to the situation with the dog? Well, that was another topic that, I don't know why Jasmine went there, but another, while I was editing Jasmine's video today, another thing that she said was that Vegan Gains, kind of started losing it, a few months ago, and he was suffering from mental health problems, and that Richard had told her some things that, I guess some feelings he had about the dog or whatever, but had told her some things, and what she said in the video was, if I had known this, if Richard had told me these thoughts he was having before I got the dog, I would have never, gotten the dog in the first place. And the breeder wants the dog back. The breeder wants to rehome the dog, but Jasmine has cut all ties off with the dog. Look, we could speculate that they're sociopaths or whatever, but, the real issue is that it was selfish, and even non-vegans would say that that's really stupid just so you can say you have a wolf dog to purchase an animal, tell everybody that you adopted it, and purchase it, have it flown over to the U.S., and then now they got to do damage control on Jasmine's channel because they know that I'm onto them. This is the other thing, too. One of the first things Jasmine said in her fucking video was that, I know Charlie wants to make a video about this, so I figured I'd come on and, tell my side of the story. If they had no idea that I was onto them, they would have just kept lying to everybody, If Vegan Gains calls me a liar and takes me all out of context and tries to destroy my channel, so this stuff has to be called out. I'm not vegan. I would never do that. Well, yeah, I mean, does that sound right to force a dog, take it away from its siblings, take it away from its mom, and buy the animal and then fly it over to Canada, have it arrive in a crate that's full of feces, and then put it on a vegan diet for 2 weeks, and then it loses weight, and you can't get the diarrhea under control, and then you lie to the vegan community and tell everybody on YouTube that you adopted the dog when you really purchased the dog for over €1,000. I mean, am I the only one that's like, am I the only one that's, am I making sense here? Does anybody else agree with me that this is really fucked up? If they wanted to adopt a dog, they could have done that. I mean, there's plenty of dogs at rescue shelters. You know what I'm saying? But they decided to purchase a dog. There's also, he apparently has to get some brain scans or get some psychiatric evaluations because I guess the Canadian government is talking about taking his guns away. I'm not saying Richard's a fake vegan. His vegan lifestyle definitely looks different than mine. I mean, I don't have raw meat in my freezer and feeding it to a dog that I don't even need, that was, pretty much abused for the first couple of weeks of me having it. You can even adopt a wolf dog. I work at a wolf dog sanctuary in Alberta, and I have plenty of dogs needing a home. Well, Mish, too, Jasmine had said something about, Isel Mazard had maybe suggested to them that they give the dog to a wolf dog sanctuary. And they abused an animal for 2 fucking weeks. And now they're feeding the animal raw fucking meat. And then they want to call me a fake vegan. Jasmine even said this too. This is the other thing that gets me, right? In the video, Jasmine says, so in the end, and I quote, "I threw all my ethics aside to make sure that the dog was healthy and happy." No, Jasmine, that's, end quote. Jasmine threw all of her ethics aside when she decided to purchase an animal from overseas and have it flown over to Canada, show up in a crate, covered in its own feces, put it on a vegan diet for 2 weeks, it loses weight. They could have killed the dog. Like, the dog could have died in their care. I'm not saying it was intentional, okay? I'm not saying it was intentional, but the dog could have died in their care. These two are idiots, and she says that she threw her ethics aside to make sure that the dog was happy. She threw her ethics aside to purchase a dog for her own vanity so she could say she has a wolf dog. So there is nothing to debate. Vegan Gains can literally get on his fucking knees and suck my big fat white cock. I mean, it's genetically, it's part wolf. Wolves don't eat vegan diets, man. Like, it's not even a vegan issue. It's the truth is these two are idiots. They're whack jobs. They're morons, and they're selfish to try to push their own ideology onto a wild animal. If she had never known that I was onto her, she would have never made that video. Literally, this is 18 seconds into the video, and she says, "Charlie's starting to get on the action, so I felt the pressure to make this video." In this video, she admits that they bought the dog, they purchased the dog. Originally, they were going to have to pay $3,000 for it. They were able to talk the breeder down to $1,000, but they purchased a dog from a breeder. And Vegan Gains, in October 14th, lied to 213,000 people that saw that video. The entire vegan community lied and said that they adopted the dog, and then calls me out for being a liar. And then he's such a bitch. He has to, retreat to his girlfriend's channel and have his wife, Jasmine, do the damage control. Why can't Vegan Gains just get on camera and be like, "Look, I did lie about, the dog." And the other thing is too, the lies don't stop there, guys. The lies do not stop. Vegan Dreams, check this out. I'm in contact with the breeder on Facebook. Okay, I had like an hour-long conversation back and forth. Okay, had an hour-long conversation back and forth with the breeder, and she said that Jasmine told her that the dog would be living on a farm. Okay, and never disclosed that she was vegan. If the breeder had known that they were going to try to feed the dog a vegan diet, she would have never sold them the dog. That's what the breeder told me. So, that's where we're at with this. That's where we're at with this. And again, it's not even a vegan issue. I feel like even non-vegans would be like, "This is stupid. Like, why would you force an animal to fly overseas? Like, why would you do that? It just doesn't make it. It's not ethical. It doesn't matter if you're vegan or not vegan. It was highly unethical. And Jasmine lies again. My third point is Jasmine lies again when she says, "I threw all my ethics aside to make sure that Lucy was happy and healthy, so I started feeding her raw meat." End quote. No, Jasmine, you threw all of your ethics aside, and so did Richard when you guys decided to purchase a dog from Denmark, fly it over in a diarrhea, soaked crate, and then lie to the vegan community and tell them that you adopted the dog. Like, it'd be one thing if they just came out and said, "Yes, we purchased a wolf dog because we really wanted a wolf dog." But, they lied about it. This is what PETA says. I'm going to tell you guys what PETA. This is what PETA says. "There is no such thing as a quote-unquote responsible breeder, because for every puppy or kitten who is produced by any breeder, an animal awaiting adoption at an animal shelter loses his or her chance of finding a home and will be euthanized. Breeders kill sheltered animals' chance to have a life." That's coming from PETA, okay? I'll even show you guys the article. I got the article right there. This is coming straight from PETA, okay? Adding to the overpopulation. "Since virtually no breeders require every puppy or kitten they sell to be spayed or neutered, these animals can soon have litters of their own, further exacerbating, I can't pronounce that word, the overpopulation crisis, and denying homes to animals who already need them. In fact, purebreds make up at least 25% of the dogs in animal shelters. Virtually any breed of dog can be found in a shelter or in a breed rescue group. Sacrificing animals' health. Breeding for appearances also wreaks havoc on animals' health. Dogs and cats don't care whether their physical appearance conforms to a judge's standards, but they are the ones who suffer the consequences of humans' genetic manipulation. So you could make I'm not, saying they're fake vegans or whatever. Me personally, though, in my vegan lifestyle, I would not purchase an animal from a breeder. I'm just not willing to do that. The other thing is the dog, it should not have had health problems. And the truth is, Jasmine and Richard, because of their selfishness, they inflicted the health problems onto that dog. Richard is too much of an idiot for me to give time to debate him, okay? There's nothing to debate. He has to get on his fucking knees and admit that there's a vegan umbrella concept that's as real as you or I. And it's as real as the abuse that they put that animal through, okay? There's nothing to debate, okay? My vegan lifestyle doesn't include purchasing an animal, okay? Putting a monetary value on an animal's life. That's not my vegan lifestyle. That's his vegan lifestyle. But that already proves my point that there's an umbrella concept. There is no debate. There's no debate about it whatsoever, bro. There is no debate. Also, the dog is a very high maintenance animal. So they do both work at home, so they can take care of the animal. Are they taking care of the animal? That's another thing to discuss. But they do have the ability to take care of the animal. Hopefully they don't try to put it on another, vegan diet. The dog was actually banned in Denmark in 2010. So if they purchased the dog from Denmark, they may have illegally bought the dog. That's another. I don't know if that's a fact, but we're looking into that. But anyway, they're contributing to an industry that and this is nothing against the breeder, but Jasmine and Richard, by purchasing a dog, they're contributing to an industry that does exploit animals. It's true. Here's Bite Size Emily, his girl Bite Size Emily, who he always runs to defend. She uploaded a video, loving our pets to death, breeding. And Bite Size Emily is very against, breeders and purchasing animals. She advocates for adopting them. Another big thing is, too, due to the prolific production to meet public demand, and this is coming from Bite Size Vegan, coveted dogs tend to have the most genetic disorders. There are animal groups as well that have expressed concerns about the growing hybrid population, warning that creatures could present a danger to humans, particularly children, who experts say they are seen as prey by the animals. And the dog is also illegal in some parts of Canada. These are two wolf dogs that are actually available for sale in Canada right now. One for $1,200, the other one for $1,200 too. This is right now. There are wolf dogs available for sale in their own country. Why did you have to purchase one from Denmark? That's problematic. And here's the question. I was talking with a buddy of mine, but here's a really relevant question. What harms animals more? Eating a piece of cheese bread that was about to be thrown away, the way that I did, or getting a breeder-designed dog from thousands of miles away, putting it through hell, and getting it sick as a result? Killing a shelter dog, according to PETA, using breeders directly kills dogs in shelters that need homes, and making an example to other vegans to use breeders. The definition of veganism says seeking to exclude as much as possible all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals for any other purpose. Did I, vegan cheetah, exclude cruelty by eating a piece of meat mistakenly delivered, or by eating a piece of mistakenly delivered cheese? Absolutely. No animal suffered because I ate cheese destined for the trash, okay? Did any animal suffer from Vegan Gains' desire to have a designer dog? Absolutely. Absolutely. First, the dog itself suffered, okay, from a hellish trip, and it could have killed it. Not to mention for the fact that they made it sick with the vegan diet. That could have killed the dog. Jared, thank you for the applause. And then there's a dog that was killed in a shelter, according to PETA, because Vegan Gains wanted to support a for-profit breeder. And that's according to what PETA says. Then there's Vegan Gains holding himself up as the ambassador of all things vegan. He's the ambassador of shit. Vegan Gains doesn't represent shit but himself and his AdSense revenue. That's what Vegan Gains represents. The guy has zero credibility at this point. He really does. He has zero credibility at this point. Now, this is another, I want to say this too, okay? Another friend of mine said this too, though. But here's another way to look at it, okay? Here's another. Well, Jay, no, I don't think you do get it, because you ride Vegan Gains' cock. You know you ride his cock. I know you ride his cock. All right. Even now, you're saying it was mostly his wife's choice. Are we supposed to believe them at this point? He looked really happy with the decision in that video. You can keep riding Vegan Gains' dick, but at the end of the day, bro, I got him. Okay, we got him. Vegan Gains is such a great vegan wanting to kill kids. Well, I mean, we've been talking about that for fucking months, and everybody thinks it's okay for him to, even in passing or even as a joke or even as a troll, express violence to innocent children. And then I troll on you now and tell people they can eat 5 pounds of meat and still be vegan, and I'm a fake vegan. Like, you know what I mean? It's like he calls me out for even less shit than what he does. But here's another thing. Think about this. Does anybody remember Joe Vegan? Joe Vegan, at least he went on YouTube and said that if he made money, he would build a shelter. Okay, he'd build an animal sanctuary to help animals. Vegan Gains, he gets on YouTube. He's a shock jock. He entertains people, makes a lot of money. What does he do with his money? He goes out and gets a fancy dog for entertainment. It's like, who cares if he almost killed the dog, traumatized it, got it sick, didn't really care about the animals like he's always saying. And actions do speak louder than words. Actions absolutely speak louder than words. And the truth is, I have been honest with you guys every time I fucked up on my vegan diet or my vegan lifestyle. Joe Vegan is so 2016. I know it. But, that's the truth of it is, at least Joe Vegan had a mission to, do something on YouTube to help animals. Vegan Gains makes a shit ton of money, and then what does he do? He turns around and purchases a dog from a breeder, which most vegans are against, okay? I'm not going to call him a fake vegan for it. I don't think he's any less vegan than me for it. But it's hypocritical for him to call me out because I ate a piece of bread that had cheese on it that was destined for the trash if I sent it back. Yet he turns right around and lies about adopting a dog. At least I was honest with you guys, with the vegan community, about my transgressions of my diet. It's not even a vegan issue, too. It's more than that. It's two idiots for selfish reasons, lied, threw their ethics aside so they could get a fancy dog and put that dog through hell. I still don't believe Richard makes that much money. Even if he does YouTube, it's not a long-term career plan. Well, the thing is, Richard, outside of YouTube, he doesn't really have much of a future. You know what I mean? Outside of his YouTube channel, he doesn't have, a lot else going for him. I mean, if he went out into the real world, they're going to look at his channel. I mean, he's a whack job. The guy is he's a lunatic. He's a lunatic. So I feel like outside of the demimon of vegan YouTube, there's not a whole lot there for him, How much does he make? I would say he makes at least $5,000 a month. At least. He is a scammer. Vegan Dreams. I absolutely agree with that. He's definitely a scammer. And he scammed all of us when he said that he adopted a dog. Can you imagine Rich, the vegan police, feeding his designer dog raw meat? That's the, Hollywood Babylon, that's the scandal of this thing. He, wants to be the face of veganism, wants to be the vegan ambassador, wants everybody, to get down on their knees and suck his dick because he's king vegan on YouTube, right? And everybody thinks of him that way, yet he has an entire elk in his freezer and that he's feeding to a dog that he doesn't even need, just so he can say he has a cool dog, or his wife can say she has a cool dog. Not a fan of his, but it's not criminal. Well, I mean, I don't know. I never accused him of being a criminal. I mean, Fango, I never said he was a criminal. All I said is that he's a liar. He threw his ethics aside to purchase a fancy dog. Vegan Vapes, thank you for the 50 likes. And then he calls me out and calls me a liar when he lied to 213,000 people. I never said he was a criminal. Did those words ever come out of my mouth? Now, I'm looking into, I was talking to somebody, they're saying that the dog may actually be illegal in Denmark. So if they purchase the dog from a Denmark breeder, they may be involved in some illegal activity. I'm not confirming that. That's just speculation that I'm looking into.